I shattered the silence of that Christmas Eve dinner with a single, deliberate act. I lit a match and held it to the corner of the family Bible, the one Dad swore on when he promised we'd always stick together. The flames licked up the gilt edges, curling the pages like dying leaves, and I watched my mother's face crumple, not from the fire, but from the realization that the daughter they'd buried in their lies was finally exhuming herself. "Ivy, what the hell are you doing?" Dad bellowed, lunging across the table. But it was too late. The acrid smoke of forgotten vows filled the room, choking out the pine-scented candles and the lies they'd told for 15 years. It started, like all good American tragedies, in the glow of a Midwestern suburb where houses looked like they were spat out by a cookie cutter and dreams came with adjustable-rate mortgages. Elmwood Heights, Ohio, population 12,000, median income $78,000, and enough repressed resentment to fuel a season of reality TV. I was 18 when it all went to hell, the summer before my senior year at Lincoln High.
Dad.
Harlan Whitaker was the golden boy of local real estate, Whitaker Homes, selling McMansions to upwardly mobile families fleeing Cleveland's rust. Mom, Lorraine, kept the books, sharp as a tack with numbers, but blind to the shadows in our own ledger. Then there were my siblings, Jake, the eldest at 22, already cutting deals in Dad's office like a mini-me in khakis, and Tessa, 19, the prom queen with a side hustle in prescription pills she swore were just vitamins from Europe.
Me?
I was the quiet one. Ivy, the fixer, the girl who alphabetized the spice rack and volunteered at the animal shelter because people were too damn messy. But that summer, messiness found me. Dad's empire was built on sand, kickbacks from contractors, fudged inspections, loans from shady lenders who'd make Tony Soprano blush. One deal soured, the Kensington Ridge development, a cul-de-sac of vinyl-sided dreams that collapsed, literally, when a foundation poured with subpar concrete gave way during a rainstorm. 2 houses uninhabitable, families displaced, lawsuits piling up like snowdrifts. The feds came knocking in July, badges gleaming under our porch light. Dad sweated through his polo. Mom popped Xanax like Tic Tacs. Jake vanished to visit friends in Chicago. And Tessa locked herself in the bathroom, sobbing about her future.
Me?
I was home for my shift at the library, covered in glitter from a kid's craft hour. They needed a scapegoat, someone young and expendable to take the fall for the paper trail, the falsified permits I'd signed as an intern, the emails I'd supposedly sent. Dad pulled me aside in the garage, his voice a gravelly whisper over the hum of the dehumidifier. "Ivy, baby, you're the only one who can save us. Just say you did it, juvenile record, community service. It'll blow over. Family first, right? Family first." The words tasted like battery acid even then. I nodded. Because what choice did a girl with straight A's and a scholarship to OSU have? Betray my own blood? Never. So I confessed. Forged documents. Embezzlement assist. The works. The plea deal was sweet. 6 months in juvie.
Probation till 21.
And a sealed record that still haunted job apps. Dad hugged me after the hearing, whispering, "You're my hero, kiddo." Mom baked my favorite lemon bars. Jake sent a card from college. "Proud of you."
Sis. Tessa?
She just smiled, all teeth and relief. They forgot me the first Christmas after. I was in juvie, a concrete box in Columbus with fluorescent buzz and the endless wail of girls who'd lost more than freedom. No visitor's log for Whitaker.
Ivy.
No packages under the plastic tree in the rec room. I told myself it was the snow, roads closed, holidays hectic. But deep down, I knew they were free because of me, and gratitude has a short shelf life in America. Fast forward 15 years. I'm 33 now, living in a one-bedroom in Pittsburgh, scraping by as a paralegal at a firm that specializes in foreclosure defense. Irony's cruelest joke. Dad's empire crumbled anyway. Whitaker Homes filed Chapter 11 in 2012, but not before he flipped the assets into a family trust. Mom's got a mess now, confined to a wheelchair in their downsized rancher in Elmwood. Jake's a mid-level exec at a Columbus bank, divorced twice, with a gambling habit that makes Vegas look like bingo night. Tessa? She's the phoenix. Parlayed her European vitamins into a wellness empire, Elysium Essentials. CBD oils and detox teas sold on QVC. Raking in 7 figures from soccer moms chasing enlightenment. And me? I clawed my way up. No silver spoon. Just grit and Google. Buried the resentment under layers of therapy and true crime podcasts. Until last Christmas. Dad called first time in years, slurring a bit. Eggnog voice. Ivy? That you? Listen. We were cleaning out the attic. Found your old stocking. Laughed about how we forgot to send you one from Juvie. Water under the bridge.
Huh. Laughed.
About the 6 months I rotted for their sins. About the scholarship revoked. The friends who ghosted. The parole officer, who eyed me like fresh meat. I hung up, heart pounding like a bass drum in a Metallica riff. That's when the plan ignited, not a blaze, but a slow smolder. I'd been handling their mortgage for months, anonymous through a shell LLC I'd set up with a buddy from law school.
See?
After the bankruptcy, Dad refinanced the rancher at 4.2%. $582,000 balloon payment due this December. They'd missed 2 payments already, thinking it was bank error. But I was the bank now. Or close enough, foreclosure specialist turned silent saboteur. It took weeks of digging, public records, whispers from old Elmwood contacts, a PI who owed me a favor. Turns out, the betrayal ran deeper than I knew. That Kensington mess? Not just kickbacks. Dad and Jake had cooked the books with Tessa's boyfriend at the time, a lender named Marco Ruiz, who funneled dirty money through shell companies. But the real gut punch, the intern emails, forged by Tessa herself, on my laptop, while I was at work. She'd confessed it to Mom in a drunken email chain I unearthed. Dated the night before my arrest. Ivy's the perfect patsy. Nobody suspects the good girl.
Patsy.
That's what I was. The family fixer turned fall guy. Rage boiled over. American style, not with fists, but with fine print and federal regs. I drafted the notice of default myself, routing it through the firm as a pro bono consult. Mailed it certified. Watched the tracking like a hawk. Dad called again. Panicked. Ivy. Some lawyer says we're losing the house. You gotta help. Family sticks together. I laughed then. A sound like breaking glass. Family first. Right?
Dad. Click.
The dinner was my endgame. I drove back to Elmwood under a sky bruised purple. Tires crunching salt on I-71. Pulled up to the rancher at 6 p.m. sharp. The wreath on the door mocking me with its perfect red bow. They were mid-feast. Turkey carcass picked clean. Pie plates smeared with crust. Mom in her chair at the end. Jake nursing a scotch. Tessa scrolling Insta on her phone, blessed. No doubt. Dad rose when I walked in. Arms open like nothing had happened. Ivy. You made it.
We were just talking about you.
Liar. The Bible was on the sideboard, a prop for their annual gratitude toast. I snatched it, struck the match from the centerpiece. Flames danced, illuminating the shock on their faces. Pure, unfiltered horror. Tessa screamed. Jake swore in Spanish he'd picked up from Marco. Mom wheezed into her oxygen mask. Dad slapped it from my hand, stomping out the embers on the carpet, leaving scorch marks like accusations. What the fuck? Ivy, he roared, face red as the welt rising on his palm. You come here on Christmas to burn our history? Your history, I spat, voice steady as steel. Mine's in a file cabinet in Columbus. Sealed but not forgotten. You want the truth? I know about the emails. Tessa's little hack job on my machine. The way you all toasted my sacrifice with Dom Perignon the night I signed that plea. Silence. Thicker than the smoke. Tessa's phone clattered to the floor. Ivy. That was. It was a mistake. We were scared. Scared. I laughed again, circling the table like a shark. I was 18. You were 20, old enough to know forgery's a felony. But hey, it bought you your empire. And Jake, where were you when the feds grilled me? Hiding in Chicago. Banging some intern while I played the villain. Jake shifted, eyes darting to Dad. We protected the family.
Ivy.
You were the weak link, too soft, too honest. It had to be you. Weak link. The words landed like a sucker punch. Mom whimpered. Please, baby, let's not do this now. It's Christmas. Christmas, I echoed, pulling the envelope from my coat, thick cream stock, embossed with the firm's seal. The day you forgot I existed. So, here's my gift. Notice of foreclosure. $582,000 due January 15th. Pay up. Or pack up. Dad snatched it, scanning the legalese, his face draining to ash. This can't be. You're bluffing. You wouldn't. Wouldn't what? Ruin you like you ruined me. I leaned in, close enough to smell his old spice and desperation. Watch me. The room erupted then, accusations flying like confetti at a funeral. Tessa lunged for the envelope, nails raking my arm. Jake blocked her, muttering about lawyers he'd call tomorrow. Mom dissolved into tears, begging for mercy. Dad just stared. The man who'd built empires on bluffs, finally cornered. I left them to it, stepping into the snow-silent night, the cold biting like vindication. But as I slid into my Civic, engine rumbling to life, a sliver of doubt wormed in. Was this justice? Or just another cycle of Whitaker poison? The road home stretched dark and endless, headlights carving tunnels through the whiteout. Little did I know, the real twist was just revving up. Pittsburgh welcomed me back with its signature gray drizzle, the kind that seeps into your bones and makes you question every life choice. I parked in the lot behind my building, a converted mill on the Monongahela, rent-controlled and riddled with charm if you squinted past the exposed ducks and neighbors' endless drum solos. Up the creaky stairs to 3B, where my cat, Judas, irony noted, greeted me with a disdainful flick of his tail. I poured a glass of cheap Cabernet, sank into the thrift store couch, and pulled up the firm's portal on my laptop. There was Whitaker, Harlan and Lorraine, status, default confirmed. Next steps, lease pendants filing. Sheriff's sale in 60 days. Satisfaction? Sure. A warm buzz in my chest like the first drag of a forbidden smoke. But sleep evaded me that night, chased away by ghosts in flannel pajamas. What if Mom's health tanked without the house's accessibility ramps? What if Tessa's empire crumbled, dragging down the employees she'd conned into sisterhood retreats? Jake, well, screw him. He'd land on his feet. Always did. And Dad, the architect of it all, scheming even now.
You bet.
Dialing old cronies for a bailout. By morning, the doubt had metastasized. I called in sick, rare for me, the reliable Ivy, and drove to the public library. Not the one in Elmwood, but the Carnegie mothership downtown, all marble and whispers. Burrowed in the genealogy section, cross-referencing with my phone's notes app. That's when I hit the motherlode, not just the Kensington fraud, but a thread leading back to Dad's first big score. The Elmwood Commons strip mall in '98. Permits expedited via a donation to the mayor's re-election fund, cash funneled through a nonprofit Mom chaired. And the kicker? The nonprofit's treasurer? Yours truly. Age 12. Signing blank checks at Dad's knee during bring your daughter to work days. It wasn't negligence, it was nurture. They groomed me from pigtails to perp walk, layering complicity like sedimentary rock. I photocopied affidavits, tucked them into my bag, and emerged into a city humming with Steelers tailgates, purple and gold banners whipping in the wind. Fans belting renegade, like war cries. America at its rawest, loyalty to the tribe, consequences be damned. Back home, the phone rang, block number. But I knew. Dad's voice, stripped of bluster. Ivy, we need to talk. Come back. Please. I almost hung up, but curiosity's a bitch. What? Dad? Need my social for the GoFundMe. A pause. Then a sigh that echoed like wind through empty showrooms. It's not what you think. Meet me at the old office. Noon tomorrow. Come alone. The Whitaker Homes HQ was a ghost now. Leased to a vape shop and a nail salon on the ground floor. Upper levels vacant since the fall. I arrived early, parking across the street under a sagging for lease sign, watching shadows flit behind dusty blinds. Dad emerged at 11:55, bundled in a peacoat too big for his shrunken frame, carrying a battered briefcase like a relic from better cons. He waved me over, and we slipped inside through a side door. Creak of hinges. Scent of mildew and stale ambition. The conference room was a time capsule, faded comps on the walls. A scale model of Kensington Ridge gathering dust. Tiny houses mocking the ruins. Dad set the case on the table, clicked it open. Inside, ledgers, yellowed with age, a thumb drive labeled contingency, and a photo, me at 16, gap-toothed grin in my waitress uniform, arm around Tessa at her graduation. You were always the heart of us. Ivy, he started, voice cracking like thin ice. I know we fucked up. Monumentally. But it wasn't just greed. Marco, remember him? Tessa's Marco. I nodded warily, perching on the edge of a chair.
Marco Ruiz, sleek hair.
Gold chain. The kind of guy who called you mommy while eyeing your dad's Rolodex. He wasn't just a lender. He was connected, Colombian cartels, money laundering through real estate. We got in deep. Thought we could skim and skimper without the hook setting. Without dragging your daughter to jail, I interjected, arms crossed. Dad winced, rubbing his temples.
Exactly.
But Marco didn't buy the scapegoat routine. He knew it was us. Started threatening exposure. Then worse, said if we didn't pay up, it'd be visits from his associates.
So I
made a call, To the feds. Anonymously. Tipped them on the Kensington permits. Timed it so they'd swoop before Marco could retaliate. My jaw dropped. The room spinning. You threw me under the bus to save your asses from the cartel? And it worked because? Because you were clean enough to sell the plea. Dirty enough on paper to stick. He slid the thumb drive over. Everything's on there, Marco's threats. My call logs. Even Tessa's forgery timestamps. Proof we did it to protect you.
2.
The house, its leverage.
Ivy.
If we lose it, Marco's old crew comes sniffing again. They're out of prison now. It was a symphony of bullshit, layered with half-truths. The ledgers showed skimmed funds. Sure. But also wire transfers to offshore accounts. Dad's escape hatch. Not mine. The photo? A prop. Tugging heartstrings I'd cauterized years ago. Yet doubt crept back. Insidious as rust. What if he was right? What if my revenge unleashed wolves on a family already lame? I need time, I said, pocketing the drive. Don't contact me. Driving back. Allegheny tunnels swallowing me whole. I wrestled the serpent in my gut. Call the cops on Dad's confession? Leak to Tessa's board. Tank Elysium stock? Or play along? Extract more? Twist the knife slower? By the time I hit my exit, decision crystallized. Infiltrate. I'd go to the housewarming, no. The family summit Dad proposed in his follow-up text. Pretend to negotiate. Gather intel. Strike when their guards were down. The summit was set for New Year's Eve. Neutral ground, the Elmwood Country Club, where Dad once schmoozed deals over 9 irons. I arrived fashionably late, in a black sheath that hugged my runner's frame, practical Ivy upgraded to vengeful siren. The ballroom hummed with small-town elite, Botoxed wives in sequins. Husbands boasting crypto gains. A string quartet murdering, auld lang syne. My family clustered at a corner table, illuminated by a chandelier like a crown of thorns. Tessa spotted me first, rising with arms outstretched, designer wrap dress. Diamonds winking like lies. Ivy, you came.
God.
You look fierce. Air kisses. All gloss no grip. Jake next, clapping my shoulder too hard. Scotch on his breath.
Cease.
Dad filled us in. Heavy shit.
Mom.
Wheeled to the edge. Gripped my hand. My girl. Forgive us. Dad pulled out my chair. Eyes pleading. To fresh starts. We clinked flutes, mine sparkling water. Clear as my motives. Dinner dragged. Small talk about grandkids, none. Weather, brutal. Tessa's latest Shark Tank pitch. But undercurrents swirled. Jake's furtive texts under the table. Tessa's forced laugh at Dad's jokes. Post-dessert. As the band struck up Sweet Caroline, Dad steered me to the terrace. Fogged breath mingling in the chill. It's bigger than us. Ivy, he murmured, lighting a cigar despite the no-smoking sign. Marco's crew, led by his brother. Raoul, they're circling. Word is, they hit a developer in Akron last month. Torched his office. If we lose the house, it's the last asset they see as ours. Take the mortgage off, and I'll deed you half. Equity for absolution. Half the rancher? A crumb from the empire I'd helped build. Tempting, in that twisted Whitaker way. But the drive in my pocket burned a hole. Insurance. Or indictment. I nodded. Non-committal. As fireworks cracked overhead, painting the sky in false glory. I'll think about it. Back inside. The polarized began. Tessa cornered me by the bar. eyes glassy with champagne and cunning. Dad's playing you.
Ivy.
Always has. That cartel story? Half true. Marco was dirty. Yeah. But we paid him off with your settlement money from the plea. The pain and suffering payout? Funneled straight to him. My blood iced. You stole from me? To silence your ex. She shrugged, sipping her flute. Family tax. But hey, it kept you safe.
And now?
Elysium's worth $50 mil. I could cut you in, silent partner. No foreclosure drama. Schemer to the core. Flipping victim to benefactor in one breath. Jake slunk up then, slurring, don't listen to her. Tessa's the one who tipped Marco about your little LLC stunt. Thinks it'll force your hand, play hero. Save the nest. Tessa whirled. Liar. You're the one who lost $200,000 at the track last month. Dad's bailing you out again. Siblings at war. The perennial Whitaker sport. I slipped away, heart hammering, weaving through dancers oblivious to the implosion. Mom caught my eye from the table, mouthing sorry, but sorry's a band-aid on a bullet wound. Midnight struck, confetti raining like accusations. As the crowd chanted countdown, I made my choice, accelerate. Text to my PI. Dig deeper on Raul Ruiz. Email to the firm. Expedite Whitaker sale. And to Dad. We're done. Happy New Year. The fallout hit like a nor'easter. Calls flooded, voicemails of pleas. Rage. Bargains. Tessa offered 10% equity. Jake threatened countersuits. Mom sent a locket with my baby photo inside. Dad? Silence. Then a single text. You always were the strongest. Finish it. I did. Or thought I did. Sheriff's auction set for February 14th. Valentine's irony. I bid anonymously through the LLC. Snagged the rancher for $420,000. Pocket change from Tessa's offer. Closing day. I drove out. Snow melting to slush under tires. The house loomed, ramp-scarred and forlorn. Inside. Echoes. Mom's wheelchair tracks in the carpet. Jake's cologne lingering in the hall. That's when the twist cracked open like a fault line. On the kitchen counter, a note in Dad's scrawl. Ivy, check the safe.
Love.
The family you saved twice. The wall safe. Behind the spice rack. I'd installed it at 14. Giggling over combination locks. Dialed my birthday, inside. Not cash. But documents. Birth certificates, mine. Jake's. Tessa's. And a fourth. Harlan Ruiz Whitaker. Born 1995. Mother, Elena Ruiz. Marco's sister. Dad wasn't just a con man. He was Raul's uncle. The cartel blood ran in our veins, or his, at least. The threats? Familial shakedown. Not random hits. And my sacrifice? Not protection, but preservation of the secret heir. The bridge to dirty money. Rage renewed. I torched the papers in the sink, flames higher. Hotter than Christmas. But as sirens wailed distant, perhaps unrelated, I realized revenge wasn't a straight line. It looped, ensnaring avenger and avenged alike. Eviction notice in hand. I stepped out, the door clicking shut on ghosts. Or so I thought. Spring thawed Ohio's grudges slowly, mud sucking at resolve like quicksand. I moved into the rancher, my rancher now, under cover of a nondescript LLC. Whitaker Legacy Properties. Furnished it sparse. IKEA basics. A desk for remote work. Judas claiming the sunroom as his throne. From the outside, it was quiet rehabilitation. Inside, war room. The safe's revelation had flipped the script. Dad wasn't victim or villain. He was both. A hydra of half-brother loyalties and paternal ploys. Raul Ruiz, fresh out of Chillicothe after a gun charge, wasn't hunting ghosts. He was family reunion gone feral. I hired muscle, not goons, but a ex-cop PI named Frankie. Built like a Buick with a Brooklyn accent softened by Cleveland winters. This Ruiz crew? Small time now, but mean. Raul's got a chop shop in Youngstown. Wanders through car flips. Your pop's name floats in whispers. The connect. Frankie's intel came in drips. Burner phones pinging between Dad's old line and Raul's garage. A wire from Elysium's Cayman account to a Raul front. $50,000 last month. Tessa, laundering through wellness retreats in the Bahamas? Jake, fencing repoed cars from his bank gig? The web tightened, sticky with Whitaker silk. Mom called weekly, routed through a new number. Alzheimer's creeping. Or so she claimed, voice frail as tissue. Ivy, honey,
Come see me.
I'm at Shady Pines now. Your father's gone AWOL. Gone. As in vanished post-auction. Leaving IOUs and a forwarding address in Florida. I visited once. Under fluorescent hell. Her room a diorama of decline. Photos of us kids airbrushed to happier lies. Did you know about Harlan's brother? I asked. Casual as tea. She blinked. Meds glazing her eyes. Marco?
Oh.
That was a fling. 94. Harlan cleaned it up, paid her off, took the boy in secret. Said it was mercy.
Mercy.
The word soured. And me taking the fall? A tear tracked down her cheek.
To keep the peace.
Raul was wild. Even then. Shooting up the mall over a joyride. Harlan thought blood would bind him. Bind. Or bleed dry. I left with more questions, her hug limp as regret. Meanwhile, the house whispered secrets. Under floorboards in the basement, Dad's man cave, littered with hustler mags and half-empty Jim Beam, I found the real vault. Duffels of cash. Vacuum sealed. $300,000 easy. Serials matched cartel heists from '05. Per Frankie's database hack. And letters. To Raul. Paternal scolds. Stay low.
Son.
The real estate's our cover. Signed Uncle H. My stomach churned. I'd inherited a hornet's nest. Tessa struck first. Uninvited. Pounding the door at dusk. Rain sheeting off her Tesla. Let me in.
Ivy.
We need to talk empire. Soaked silk blouse clinging. She paced my living room like a caged Dior model. Dad's with Raul, confirmed. They're planning a score. Flip the old Kensington lots. Now city-owned. With dirty funds. If it blows, we're all accessories. Speak for yourself, I said. Pouring her tea she ignored. You forged my path to hell. Why should I care? Because you're in it now. She slapped down printouts, deeds tracing the rancher back to Marco's estate.
Inherited via Raul.
Foreclose or not. It's tainted. Feds sniff. Your LLC's ground zero. But partner up, I launder clean through Elysium. You handle legal. We cut Jake and Dad out. Split 60-40. The flip, from betrayer to businesswoman. Controversial as a plea bargain. Polarizing. Sure, save the family fortune. Or sink it. I feigned interest. Nodding as she sketched projections on a napkin, millions in CBD-fueled condos. But My mind raced to the duffels. Tip the IRS anonymously? Or bait the trap? Jake crashed the party next week. Unannounced. Reeking of dive bars and defeat. Tess is full of shit, he slurred from the porch. Six-pack in hand. She's the one feeding Raoul intel, trying to buy him off. Make him her enforcer. Dad's onto it. That's why he bolted. We drank on the deck. Stars pricking the humid night. Fireflies mocking our mess. Jake confessed over the third beer, his gambling debts. $150,000 to Raoul's bookies. Paid via bank loans Dad co-signed. I was the weak link this time.
Ivy.
After your stunt. I get it, the fall guy's curse. Empathy flickered. Unwanted. Then why throw me under? Survival of the slickest. He grinned. Wolfish. But hey, blood's blood. Help me flip the script. Hack Tessa's servers. Expose her Cayman trails. We take Elysium. Leave her penniless.
2 offers.
2 traitors turning tail. The house amplified it all. Creaks like judgments. Shadows of family portraits I'd torn down. Judas watched from his perch. Judgmental as a jury. I played both. Feeding scraps to Frankie. Surveilled Tessa's penthouse. Tailed Jake's Camry. Patterns emerged. Meetings at a dive off I-80. Dad's silhouette in the booth with Raoul. A burly shadow with my brother's jawline. Climax brewed in July. Heat wave turning Elmwood to a skillet. Frankie called. Raoul's moving tomorrow. Kensington lots. Midnight. Crew of 5. Including your pops. My pulse thrummed like a migraine. Intervene? Expose? Or escalate? Turn their heist into my hammer?
Et chose KO.
American Grand. Anonymous tip to local PD. Drug buy at the site. Then a second to IC. Flagging Raoul's deportation status. Drove out at dusk. Civic blending with ghost town traffic. The lots were craters now. Weeds choking rebar skeletons. A no man's land under sodium lamps. I parked a quarter-mile off. Hiked in with binoculars. Heart a jackhammer. They arrived in lowriders. Hydraulics hissing like vipers. Raoul first, tattoos snaking up his neck. Harlan's eyes in a stranger's face. Dad next. Gesturing like old sales pitches. Briefcase swinging. Then Jake's truck. Tessa's SUV. Full family reunion. Irony dripping. They unloaded. Survey gear for legit cover. Duffels for the dirt. Sirens shattered the night before they broke ground. My tips converging. Blues and whites flooding the access road. Chaos erupted. Raoul barking orders. Dad freezing like a deer. Jake bolting for his truck. Tessa screaming into her phone.
Cops swarmed.
Barking, hands up. Not for drugs. But suspicious activity on reclaimed land. Raoul drew. Controversial as hell, a 9mm glinting moonlit, firing wild into the air. Return fire cracked. A cop's round clipping his shoulder. Blood blooming dark on his shirt.
No fatalities.
But the Polaroid moment. Family felled. Spotlit in betrayal's glare. I watched from the treeline. Unseen.
Bilerising.
Right or wrong, they'd force my hand. Scheming to the end. But the shot, Raoul's or the cops. Split sympathies. Was I avenger or arsonist? Sparking a blaze that scarred kin? Dawn broke bloody. Headlines screamed. Developer dynasty busted in midnight land grab. Dad and Jake cuffed. Tessa Mirandized for obstruction. Raoul medevaced. Mom's nursing home TV looped it.
Her confusion a mercy.
I slipped home. Showered off the night's grime. But the mirror reflected a stranger. eyes hollow, hands steady with sin. Twist's shadow loomed.
Though.
A knock at noon, Frankie. Grim-faced. Envelope in hand. Your pop's lawyer reached out. Bail hearing tomorrow. And this dropped in my office. Inside, the locket from Mom. But engraved now, for Ivy, the true heir. Safe combo, 1995. Raoul's birth year. Heart sinking. I dialed it. The safe yawned. Not more cash. But a will.
Dad's.
Notarized last year. Leaving everything. The tainted deeds. The hidden millions to me. To Ivy, who carried our sins and survived. Forgive. Or finish.
Ash.
Finish? The word echoed as PD cruisers patrolled Elmwood streets. Whispers of cartel retaliation brewing. I was the heir. All right. To a throne of thorns. August scorched the Midwest into submission. Humidity a shroud over secrets unearthed. The bail hearing was a circus. Elmwood courthouse packed with gawkers. Reporters from the plain, dealers sniffing for cartel ties. I sat in the back, incognito in shades and a ball cap, watching the procession. Dad first, disheveled but defiant. Bond set at $250,000. Posted by an anonymous wire I traced later to
Me?
The LLC had auto-drafted from the safe's funds, a fail-safe in his will.
Jake followed.
Sniveling about coercion, $100,000 bond covered by his bank's severance. Tessa,
Si es legal que moi.
walked free on her own recognizance. QVC clout opens doors. Apparently. Raoul, extradited to federal hold. Shoulder stitched but spirit unbroken. Per Frankie's sources. Dad spotted me as he exited, flanked by a suit from Columbus. A nod. Nothing more, acquiescence or accusation. I bolted before the scrum, weaving through parking lot chaos to my car. The will burned in my glove box. A Molotov of motive. Heir to what? A crumbling legacy laced with laundered lies? Or a chance to rewrite? Torch the bad and bank the good? Tessa ambushed me at the rancher that night. Key under the mat, her old hideout. We need a powwow. Sis. All of us. Her eyes, puffy from court, held a gleam, calculation over contrition. Jake arrived an hour later. Pizza boxes as peace offering, looking like a kicked hound in sweats. No Dad. No Raoul, just the remnants. Circling wagons in my kitchen. We fucked up, Jake started. Passing slices. All of us.
But the will, Dad told me.
You're the phoenix now. Ivy. Clean it up. Or we all burn. Tessa nodded, dabbing sauce with a napkin. Elysium's tanking, stock down 40% on the scandal. Investors pulling out. But with the estate, we restructure. Your LLC buys in. Launders nothing. Just legit flips. Kensington 2.0. Green built. Community grants. Polarize the press. Whitaker redemption arc. Redemption. The word hung. Controversial as a plea for leniency.
Me?
The fall girl. Now figurehead? Decisions loomed. Forgive and fold. Or fracture further. They pitched hard, pro formas. Escape clauses. Even a family therapy clause, huh? Jake's flip, from gambler to CFO. Debts forgiven. Tessa's, from forger to philanthropist. Donating to juvie reform. Ironies encore. I let them talk. Judas batting at dangling strings. Until midnight tolled. One condition, I said. Voice even.
Full truth. Marco. Raul.
The skim, all of it, recorded. They balked. Then buckled, phones out. Confessions spilling like cheap Kiani. Tessa's forgery. Panic. Not malice. Dad's orders. Jake's hiding. Fear of disbarment dreams. The cartel? Opportunistic. Not origin. Dad's dalliance a one-off. Raoul's rage a nurture fail. It painted no one saint. Victims of vice. Villains by choice. I hit record off. Stood. Think on it.
Offer stands till dawn.
They left dazed. Taillights fading into fog. Alone. The house settled around me. Creaks of confession. I cracked the safe again. This time for the ledgers. Burned the cartel pages in the fireplace. Kept the clean ones for audits. Called Frankie at 3 a.m. Wire the bailbacks anonymous. And tip the feds on the Cayman trails. But pin it on Raoul's crew. Partial justice. Family floats. Foes flounder. Dawn brought Dad. Unannounced. Standing on the porch in Dawn's pink. Peacoat frayed. Read the will, he asked.
No preamble.
I nodded, handing him coffee black, like his soul. We sat on the swing he'd built for my 10th birthday. Chains groaning. Why me? Harlan? After everything. He sipped, eyes on the horizon where Elmwood stirred. Because you endured. Jake chases highs. Tessa builds facades. You build back. The money's clean now. Years of penance flips. Take it. Burn it. Whatever.
Just.
Don't forget us entirely. Forget? The irony twisted like barbed wire. Like you forgot me on Christmas? A chuckle. Bitter as bile. That call? Drunk regret.
But yeah.
We deserved the mortgage gut punch. Woke us. In a way. We talked then real talk. No sales spin. His regrets, the skim starting small, snowballing to sins. Mom's complicity. Books cooked to keep the lights on. Raoul, a ghost he'd tried to father from afar, failing spectacularly. My fall, the hardest pill, swallowed for a greater good that soured. By noon, decision crystallized, hybrid. Accept the estate, but conditional, structured dissolution. Elysium rebrands under my LLC. Profits to a foundation. Juvie Justice Initiative. Scholarships for kids like me. Jake manages ops. Clean or cut.
Tessa fronts PR.
Authenticity audits mandatory. Dad, consultant. Probationary, one slip.
He's out.
The rancher? Mom's forever. Deeded free and clear. Polarizing? Hell yes. Local split. Some hailed Whitaker revival. Others screamed foxes in henhouse. Online forums lit up. Ivy's a saint versus enabler of crooks. Protests at the groundbreaking for New Kensington. Signs reading, build on lies, and second chances matter. Cops watched Raoul's trial from afar. My tips yielding indictments. Cartel cell dismantled. No Whitakers named. Twist landed Labor Day. Barbecue at the rancher. Tentative truce. Mom wheeled out. Jake grilling dogs. Tessa mixing mocktails. Laughter edged with caution, like walking a thawed pond. Then Raoul's letter arrived. Forwarded from county jail. Aunt Ivy, yeah. That's me now. Dad Harlan spun tales. But truth? Marco sent me to watch you all. Not threaten. I pulled the gun that night to scatter the crew. Protect the flip. Not fight cops. Blood's thick. Even diluted. When I walk, we talk empire. Or end it. Empire. The word ignited debate anew. Kith or kin? Invite the wild card. Risk relapse? Or sever? Perpetuate the cycle? Dad read it silent, crumpling it slow. Your call. Air. I burned it that night. Flames dancing in the fire pit. But kept the ash, reminder that endings loop. Fall deepened. Leaves turning traitor gold. And we built. Condos rose on reclaimed dirt. Green roofs and solar panels gleaming like absolution. Mom passed in October. Peaceful. Locket in hand, forgiven. Or forgotten. Her service packed the Methodist hall. Eulogies skirting scandals. Winter circled back. First snow dusting the new builds. Christmas Eve. I strung lights on the rancher, mine, ours, and set a place at the table.
Jake. Tessa.
Dad arrived, bearing gifts, not gold, but deeds to shares, clean as fresh powder. No toasts to history, just quiet grace, forks clinking like fragile peace. But as midnight tolled, phone buzzed an unknown, walking tomorrow.
Talk.
Raoul. I stared at the screen. Family faces blurred in candlelight.
Answer? Ghost?
The choice hung. Debatable as dawn. Mercy or massacre. Unity or unravel. In the end, I texted. Doors open. But terms apply. Blood calls to blood.
But on my rules now.
America forgives the resilient. Damns the repeaters where we landed. That's the controversy. Still unfolding in Elmwood's endless chill. Epilogue whisper. The mortgage? Ignored. Then absorbed. $582,000 vanished into foundation coffers. Funding futures unscarred by family firsts. And me, Ivy Whittaker, Avenger turned architect, building not just homes, but reckonings. Merry fucking Christmas.